Hello, in this video I'm gonna take a default awesome rc.lua configuration, make it modular and get a result that looks something like this. Two remarks that I want to make is firstly, I'm using awesome version 4.3, so if you're on Arch Linux and you're using the Git version, this tutorial is probably not for you. And secondly, keeping up with my pace will probably be difficult, so I recommend going to my GitHub page that I will link under this video and using my GitHub setup as some sort of cheat sheet. Let's start with some basic terminology. In Awesome, windows are called clients. Here you can see three different clients in this example image. Above those clients is a top bar, which has a technical name, WeBar. And inside the WeBar, we have widgets. Here is one with numbers, one with icons, and some other system tray information, just like this. That's the appearance of Awesome Window Manager. The default configuration of Awesome has this empty window, and the first question is how the heck do you invoke any applications? So Windows S invokes a shortcuts cheat sheet. You can of course pause the video, check all of these shortcuts, but the most important one currently is Super P, which shows an application launcher. Let's invoke a terminal window and switch to the configuration directory of Awesome. Here you probably don't have any files, and if you don't, you can copy the default configuration from a default directory, which is copy etc xdg awesome rc.lua. Sorry, and copy it here. Now we have a default rc.lua file. Here's the default configuration, which is 600 lines long, and making it modular and stripping down some unwanted functionality is gonna make it more digestible. But the good thing is that the default config is split up into several blocks. Let's start with the first one, error handling. First of all, a different type of error handling is when you make a syntax error. And if you save your configuration, reload the config with super Ctrl R, you're gonna get a pop-up error about your syntax error. But this error handling is everything but the syntax errors. For example, let me make a demo. If I have an illegal key binding, for example, if I have something like naughty.notify and some random string here, and I reload the config, I'm not gonna have an error immediately. But if I invoke this hotkey, modkey S, I'm gonna get another pop-up error, which happens during the runtime. And if I remove the error handling functionality, I'm not gonna get any errors if I invoke this same hotkey. So I invoke it, and there's basically nothing. Okay, let me redo my changes. Now the variable definitions. It's basically your theme initialization where you set up all of your colors. The terminal, which is the default ones. We will change those in the future. And the mod key. Mod key is your super or the win key. If you want to have a different key, for example alt key, you can have mod 1 instead of mod 4. So yeah, that's also pretty useful. And the layouts are those things which you can change. There are a lot of different layouts which you're probably not going to use all of them, and you can of course comment those out, which we will do in the future. The next one is X desktop menu. So if you change into another window, empty one, and right click, you're gonna get this pop-up. This functionality I will strip off, because the focus is to make a keyboard heavy environment. Next one is WeBar, which is this top bar. And one dangerous thing is that basically if you mess up your config where you don't have tags or don't have hotkeys, you basically screwed everything. And troubleshooting process is potentially dropping down into a TTY or changing your window manager to, for example, GNOME or KDE and edit from there. If you want to avoid that, then you can use something called Zephyr. In the Arch Wiki of Awesome, there's a troubleshooting guide. And if you install Zephyr and just copy those two lines, you're gonna make a nested Xorg window. And if you copy the configuration, let's see, rc.lua, you're gonna have a tiny little awesome window manager window. If you press Shift Control, you're gonna force everything into this nested environment. So cursor does not leave anything. And I can use hotkeys and tags here, and I can invoke some apps here like Kitty, though some other apps might not get invoked inside this sandbox environment. And it's very useful if you make a huge change and if you're scared of breaking your system. For example, Shift Control again to exit this window. Let's close it. If I remove the WeBar, I'm gonna mess up a lot of important stuff because I'm not gonna have tags and I will not be able to change windows. So if I remove it, save the config, open the Zephyr window and reload the config, I'm gonna see that nothing has happened. Like, it's a sign of something being broken. Let me try again. Yeah, like I have nothing. So that shows that you have an error. Another type of troubleshooting is something called gears. Let me go into the default configuration. Gears.debug. It has multiple functions. So for example, if I do gears.debug.dump some global variable, like screen is some global variable. Oh no, I messed up my WeBar. I forgot to remove it. Okay, so this is what happens when you break your system. You need to go into your TTY, which is Alt, Control, and F keys, F1 through F12. And here I can go into my awesome configuration, check my RC Lua, and redo the mistake I've done. It was removing the WeBar. Let's get it back here and repeat. We can go back again. For me, it's Alt, Control, F7, and I'm in my session manager. And if I enter, okay, nice. Everything is back. Everything is amazing. You just need to know how to work in the TTY. Okay, after breaking my system, I can write gears.debug.dump, reload my config, and seemingly nothing happens because the dump happens into my X session errors file. So if I go there, go into the end, as you can see, I've dumped the screen table, and it's a very useful function. Let's go back into gears.debug, gears debug. Those functionalities are very useful when you don't know what variables you're working with, if it's something novel to you. Okay, so the next two blocks are mouse and key bindings, which are pretty self-explanatory. So if you switch to an empty awesome window and invoke super SOT key, those are your key bindings. And mouse bindings is something like the right mouse click, which is 3, and fourth and fifth mouse buttons, which you probably won't have. So again, on an empty window, if I right mouse click, I will get this pop-up. And The next block is rules, which is responsible for your Xorg Windows rules. So for example, if you want to remove the title bar or change the width and the height of the window on startup, you can refer to this block. So for example, if we go down, we have commented out special rules for Firefox by default. And the last block is signals, which immediately is not very clear what it means, but it will be useful when we will do asynchronous programming. After walking through the configuration, we can make some unrelated quality of life improvements. For example, the repeat key. If you press some key, the annoying part, it has some abysmal delay. Like, I don't know for what turtles this was made for, but we're the cool Linux users. So we're gonna change it with xset. So xset r repeat rate 250 millisecond delay, 25 times per second. And it's gonna make matters so much better. Like, now everything is responsive, everything is good. Another thing is volume controls. It can happen that by default you have turned off volume. So use your volume application. For me, it's also Mixer, and bump that number up. And that out of the way, now we can move on to stripping off the unneeded configuration. First thing, again, is the X desktop menu, because we don't use the mouse, we are the keyboard warriors. So remove that without any fear, and remove this part because it's not used anymore. Reload the config, and at the right click, we have an error because we are invoking some hotkey, and that hotkey is the mouse bindings, and it's 3. 3 is the right mouse button. So if we remove this and reload our config, now we don't have any errors. The next thing is removing title bars, because we are gonna make a crazy rise. Nobody uses title bars. The title bars are set in the signals. Here, this signal function, we can simply remove it. And it's also set in the rules. So if you go to the rules and go into title bars enabled, we can do false. And as we reload the config, we now have a very slick design, which is pretty nice. Also, some opinionated functionality is removing sloppy focus. If I invoke Kitty and my mouse follows the focus. If you don't want that, like me, you can remove this. Reload the config, and now this functionality does not happen. Another functionality that we can remove is a contextual hotkeys pop-up menu. So here, I pop it up in new Vim and I get Vim commands. If I pop it up in regular terminal window, I get tmax information. And if you don't need that information, just remove this line, reload the config, and now you're gonna have an agnostic cheat sheet, which is gonna only show the awesome information. Now let's move on to the most juicy part of our configuration, the modularity of it. Basically, I'm gonna use my own approach. Here is the directory structure. Main contains all of the fundamental configuration. Appearance is everything related to the visuals. Image is self-explanatory. Key is any hotkeys that we create. Modular is something like auto-starting applications on certain tags, those tags. Script is partially related to auto-starting apps. For example, I can have a auto-start xset script that we used as a command already. And here you can see a theme.lua file, which we usually copy from the main page of the documentation. it cannot be used immediately because we need to insert a correct file path. We will do that a bit later on. The easiest way of adding a module is extracting some block out of here. For example, error handling. Adding our directory like main, add error.lua. Paste that block. And now we need to link our local libraries like here. Paste it in. Here we require only naughty local variable. And instead of that block, we just gonna paste a simple require main.error. Also, a little remark. If you use NeoVim, your file path may be a wrong one. For example, you can have something like awesome.mainError. If you need to fix that, you can initialize a Git directory inside your workspace so that the LSP knows where the correct file path is. Okay, so let's get back. And as we can see, we created a module and we required it. Let's reload the config. And I usually like to some sort of stress test my modules to see if they are working correctly. Let's mess up our hotkey that we already messed up early on. Notify with some random string, which is illegal. And let's use it. Okay, I get an error. This means the module works. Let's, for a good measure, unload the module. And now there is no error pop-up notification. So it means the module works. And you can easily pull it in and pull it out. So that's always also useful. Reload. Now the next module would be signals. Again, copy it, add signals.lua, paste it in, open the fold, and again we need to link our variable names. Here awful and beautiful are used, nice. And we copy this and reload. Well, I accidentally reloaded, but we need to link it in the end. And the thing is, the order in which you link also matters. So signals should be really in the end. Okay, no errors. Let's again stress test it. Let's add the sloppy focus functionality that I removed. And let's check if it works. I'm gonna add another window. Okay. The windows are being changed. And let's comment out our module and check if sloppy focus works. Okay, it doesn't work anymore, so it means the module works and it's easily commentable out. Okay, and remove our sloppy focus. I don't use it. And okay, everything works nice. Other module, the most scary one, is vbar because it can mess up your config if you do a mistake. Thus, we are gonna use the Zephyr. So, first of all, make a directory, appearance, add a vbox file to it, paste it in, open, right, and we are gonna link the right variable names. Gears, awful, vbox, beautiful, and that's all. Now, on the place of the block, we're gonna require the module, which is appearance vbox, and I'm a spooked up guy. I'm not gonna reload it immediately. I'm gonna use Zephyr. That was shown in the Arch wiki for AwesomeWM Manager. We created a Zephyr window. We link our configuration, and as we can see, our tags work. Let's shift Control to go inside the window. It seems like the hotkeys work. Nice. Let's go back, Shift Control again, and remove this session. So we tested it. Nothing is broken. So we can reload the config without being scared. And here it is. Everything works. Nothing is broken. Amazing. Those were the easy raw dogging modules where you just simply do require. The next step is making modules that return some sort of table. For example, if you have variable definitions, you can extract it, add, for example, user variable Lua file, paste it in, open the fold. And now we're going to make a different type of module. First of all, let's remove the layouts out of here, and let's remove the beautiful initialization of our theme. It's not really related to our local variables. So what we're gonna do is create a table, a local table, for example, with just some random name. It does not matter what name you have. The name will be invisible to the rc.lua. And we are gonna return that table. And those are going to be our objects. Nice. By the way, editor CMD, I don't really know what it is. It's not used anywhere, so I'm gonna comment it out. And now we can change our local variables. So for terminal, I use kitty, and for editor, I use Nevin. For mod key, it's of course the super key. Also, in the future, we can add another modifier keys, but it's later on. And now, very important part, mod key is used in our hotkeys. So if you go here and look at our hotkeys and mouse bindings, we're gonna see the mod key. It's very important to always link those, because if you're not gonna have mod key linked, the hotkeys are gonna brick your system, because otherwise you're gonna have no mod key and just S as a hotkey popup. So you will not be able to use S to input the S letter. So that's also a spooky part of configuration. So we're again gonna use Zephyr to test stuff. Let's go back. The variable definition will be here. So for example, local vars table will be require main.user variable. And if we check with our LSP, we have an editor, a mod key, and a terminal information. And what we need is local mod key should be equal to vars.modkey, and local terminal should be equal to vars.terminal. And same for local, whatever it is, vars. I forgot, editor? Yeah, I need editor. Okay. Local editor equals to vars editor. It's in use currently, but that's a thing for the future. I'm scared of reloading my config currently, so again, I'm gonna save everything. I'm gonna load my Zephyr session. I'm gonna load the display. I'm gonna shift control to go into my sandbox environment and check if stuff works. Okay, let's invoke kitty. Okay, I can type and hotkeys work. And minimize, maximize. Okay, all sorts of hotkeys work, so I can go out of this session and reload my config without being scared of breaking my system. Okay, so that's the local variables. The next step would be extracting our mouse bindings and hotkeys. Let's use both of them and go and create a key directory and add a global key.lua file name. Okay, what we can do is check our mouse bindings, and I think I'm gonna extract mouse bindings into a separate file. So I would use global buttons.lua. Okay, open the fold, check this stuff. Okay, open this fold. Okay, currently this will not work and we need to do some work. Okay, so let's go back to RC Lua file. Now we need to link our standard libraries. So it's hotkey popup. And where is hotkey popup used? It's in the global keys. Okay. I'm currently temporarily gonna keep my key bindings as a standalone require module global key, then require global buttons. And this stuff I will fix in the future because we can do something smarter. So currently, global buttons is easier to manage. So this is a simple example to show my thought process. Gears.table.join is a function that joins our hotkey tables. So we can create a local global buttons table. And then remove the root.buttons method. And then we can just return the global key, the global buttons. And what we can do in the RC Lua is set our global buttons by assigning our table to some variable like local global buttons equals require global buttons. Global buttons is some unknown variable. Okay, I'm kind of concerned. So I'm again going to use Zephyr. And for global keys, I've linked the libraries, but I have not linked our local names or local mod key, the terminal information. So I need to link that. Let's go back. Let's yank it and paste all of this information. Okay, editor is not used. I don't really need it. And it seemingly should work. Okay, so that's the global keys part. Now we go back to rc.lua and we need to link the global key. Okay, it is linked, nice. So everything works. Oh, this is pretty difficult to grasp. So again, you can use my configuration as a right-hand, as a cheat sheet that you can follow. Because now we're gonna split or config furthermore. So what we do is global keys is separate thing. Client keys is a separate thing also. Let's make a client keys variable and add it there. Okay. And we can use our local libraries names. Okay. Global keys are separate. Again, global keys are separate. And also we have something called client buttons. So let's extract client buttons into its own file. Paste it in. And link our local libraries. And very important thing, we need to check where global keys, client buttons, client keys are used. Let's check with grep client buttons as I can see, it's used in rc.lua in the rules block. So what I will need to do is add my client keys, local client keys, and add my local client buttons. And I will need require or key.client keys file and require or key.client button file. But currently those files don't work as intended because they don't return any information. So again, as in our example in global buttons, I'm gonna create a local table and use gears.tablejoin to agglomerate all of my hotkeys. Okay, so client keys, local client keys, here it is. And I can simply just write return client keys. So to digest everything, client keys is its own thing that's only used for rules. So we only need to focus on this two-way connection between rules that are here and the client keys file. So now we have a client keys table. And now we need to make a client buttons table. So we do local client buttons and then return client buttons. Okay, that's related to the rules. It should work, but of course we're gonna test it in Zephyr. Now the global key. Okay, global keys, I'm gonna leave it as it is temporarily. It's just returned required in a raw dogging way with nothing in it, just this stuff. Now save everything. Again, use Zephyr, display, and check what errors do we have. So it shows that in global buttons first line we are trying to index nil value gears. So our model does not know about the gears variable. So what it basically means is that we forgot to link our global buttons gears library. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Let's go here. Let's link it. And gears and awful have to be used. Okay, first error has been fixed. Let's check if we have any other errors. Zephyr, display, and shift control to check if everything works. Add kitty, minimize. So something is working incorrectly. As you can see, we have client keys, but we don't have any super modifier. That means I forgot to link the mod key. Okay, nice. Okay, let's go back. Let's exit my window. And as I understand, I messed up. I did not link variable, my vars. Okay. Terminal is not used, so I'll remove it. And let's go back, open the Zephyr, display, shift control, and let's check. Okay, now I have all of the required super modifier keys. Let's open Kitty. Let's check a hotkey, client hotkey, like minimize, super N, it works. Unminimize, super control N, it works. So it means my client keys work. Nice. And it means that I can safely reload my config in the actual Xorg session. And nothing has been bricked. It seems like tags work. So yeah. So our global buttons, client key, client buttons are all set. We don't need to touch them. Let's focus solely on global keys. So there are two different blocks for global keys. There's one gears.table join, and there is another gears.table join here. So what I like to do, separate the numerical global keys into its own file. I'm gonna use it something like tag_key.lua. So numerical global keys will go into tag keys. And same thing as with global keys, I need to link all of the appropriate information. So menu bar not used, terminal not used, okay. And what I need to do here is to again create a table. So local global keys table. And I need to return that table as a module. Okay. One important notice that gears.table.join has the ability to append existing keys to the new ones. So what happens here? Global keys, the previous iteration global keys, is appended to the next iteration global keys. And it's not only related to the iterations. It can also be used in the global keys file. So what can I do is create a local tag keys variable, require my tag keys, and I can join tag key to my global keys. So I kind of merge tag keys into the global keys, and then global keys are set up with root.keys. So this root.keys sets up my global keys. I check again if I haven't made any mistakes. Now again open up Zephyr because doing stuff with hotkeys is dangerous. Check. Tag keys is hotkeys related to tags. So like win 1, 2, 3, 4. What the hell? Okay, so my tag keys are not working, though the mouse is working. So I only messed up my tag keys. Let's exit this sandbox and check what was done wrong. Oh, as I understand, I have an inappropriate name. I really should have named it differently than global keys. I'm going to rename it something like tag keys. Tag keys. Okay. Local tag keys. And I forgot to link it properly. I forgot an S. Okay. Fixed my mistakes. And let's open Zephyr again. And see if Shift Control tags work. Nice, we're making progress. Okay, close our Zephyr. And we can safely reload our main configuration. Nice. So tags work, hotkeys work, minimize works, unminimize works, everything works. Great. So let's go back to rc.lua and check what we have left. We have rules left, and also I want to make global keys, return global keys like this, return global keys, go back into here, set the key hotkeys for root.keys and do local global keys. So this is the appropriate information. Let's see. Again, I'm going to invoke Zephyr. Check my display. And seemingly everything works. Invoke kitty, minimize, unminimize, exit. Nice. So again, it works. So I can safely save everything. Reload the main configuration. And now all of our hotkeys are created. The thing that's left are rules, which we are gonna just raw dog currently. Just extract, create a main dot rules rule.lua file, paste it in, open, link the appropriate variables. Awful, beautiful. Okay. And then I'm gonna require rules. Okay. Again, check it. I don't really need to check it with Zephyr because vbar and the hotkeys are the dangerous things. These rules, if I have an error, it's no problem. Like, it's gonna work just fine. Okay, I don't really know what happened to the rules. So let's stress test rules. You can see there's a commented rule which allows to set Firefox to a certain tag. Let's reload, remove or config, and I messed up. Yeah, I messed up with the rules because I had to link client keys and client buttons. Yeah, so let's go. Pick those things and reload and check if I've stopped working. Okay, let's pop out Firefox. Okay, it's not really invoked on the second tag. There has to be some mistake. The most annoying part is truly troubleshooting the window rules, because they're the most pity part of window management. One utility that's useful for this application is xprop. It checks for X window properties. So I have a special crosshair cursor. I click on a window and I get special information. As you can see, I have class, and it should really be not Firefox capitalized, but it should be Firefox ESR. Okay, so if I paste it in, reload my config, and everything works. So say I'm on the 9th tag, I invoke Firefox, and it's pasted to the 2nd tag. So my stress testing has worked. The extracted module of all rules works. So yeah, that's another step forward. Another thing that I can do is extract this awful.rules part, do local my rules, and make it equal to my rules. The reason that I'm doing stuff like this is from the principle of least privilege. So I need to show as little information as possible from my modules into the main configuration, because there can happen some random crossfire and a lot of weird collisions that you cannot account for if you don't account for the principle of least privilege. So this is why I'm going to make local my rules and return rules, return my rules. Okay, it seems like everything should be working. Let's check if rules work. The closing of apps works. That means that the client keys of the rules work, those client keys. So yeah, I've extracted almost everything out of rc.lua. Let's temporarily remove this Firefox rule because I don't really need it currently. Let's do Firefox. Okay, nice. The last part left is layouts, which is also a pretty simple table module. So what I do is I need to extract this part, add a layout.lua into my main directory, what I can do is make a local layouts variable and return that variable. And the thing that I need is link my awful name, require awful. Okay, also the thing that I need is that I don't use a lot of hotkeys for my layouts. Thus, I'm gonna remove some layouts. I already have a predefined configuration for those layouts, so I'm gonna get it from my different already fully working configuration. So I'll go here, I'll check for those, and I'm gonna put all of the layouts that I need. Okay, there are 3 layouts: tile, fair, maximal. Whew. Okay, so we go main, layout, we make a local variable for it, and we assign it layout. Layout is again not a scary stuff, so you can just reload the config with no consideration. And as you can see, now I have a pop-up with only 3 cycling layouts. So it's tile, fair, width, and maximized. Nice. So now our rc.lua is empty, and the only thing left is to check out our appearance, because Webox is extracted and there is a lot of mess going on here. Like there is a lot of noise in this configuration. So now the hardest type of module is when you create some custom library, let's call that, and add custom modules to that library, and those modules you can use wherever you want them. Let's make an example using our tag list widget, this 9 tags. So we create tag list Lua file, check all of everything related to tag list, and paste it in, link the needed libraries, and go here. Let's check what's tag list. Okay, create tag list widget. I'll really uncomment it so I have a reference point, and paste it in here. Now the problematic part that is we have a screen property S, which is fetched from the awful screen connect for each screen, this S variable. But if we use a simple raw dogging way of requiring, we are not gonna have this information about our screen S, screen variable. So what we need to make function, so what we do here, local function, for example, my tag list, we are gonna pass an S argument to it, and we're gonna return that function, my tag list. And what happens to the function is that we remove this part and we have a return statement inside our function. And this S variable, really, it has no special meaning for this place. I can really rename it to something else. I can call it Ligma, like it does not matter. The only place where it matters is in here, where we use that function in our Webox. The thing is, I really don't want to pollute my namespace with thousands of functions, so I'm gonna be kind of smart about it. I'm gonna make a custom library. I'm gonna call it appearance, and it's going to be a table, and inside this table I'm gonna have, for example, my tag list. variable, and it's going to be requiring my tag list file, tag list, appearance tag list. So how I'm gonna use it is I'm gonna do appearance.taglist, my tag list, and use it as a function where I'm gonna pass the s screen argument. So we go here, we check where tag list widget was used, and I have appearance tag list. The really thing is that I don't really need to create it once again. I'm gonna move on to the next reference of tag list, and here I'm only interested in the tag list. So I'm gonna paste appearance my tag list. Okay, it seems like everything should be working. Let's check what tag list is. Let's go to, let's check. It's something unknown. My LSP does not recognize it, so I'm kind of scared. Because if you lose your tags, you have screwed your system. So once again, we're gonna use Zephyr to help us. Zephyr. Let's save everything in our configuration. Let's load our configuration, and oopsie daisy, something's wrong. Let's read it in Webox. Attempting to concatenate a nil value HTML wide. How is this related to what I'm doing now? Yeah, there's no HTML wide information. Oh, yeah, yikes. I accidentally was using my unrelated configuration. So let's move out of that config and let's use Zephyr outside of that config. Okay, Zephyr, and use the display. Okay, now there's a different error, thank God. Now we have a Webox Lua 7th line error. In the 7th line, there's some sort of error. Let's check what 7th line means. What? The configuration shows that I'm trying to index, it shows that table index is nil. So one thing that I can do currently is edit out this part and see if I have an error. Commenting out stuff allows me to pinpoint the error position. It's probably not here, it's probably somewhere around here. So let's see. Zephyr display. Okay, again, it's the function require. Let's see what was done wrong. Appearance tag list. I understand. You never return a method, a function with its arguments. Okay, that was the error. I just don't need this S argument. Let's go back to Zephyr. Display. No errors, but my tag list is lost because I've actually commented it out. Let's check it again. Zephyr display. It works. It works. Nice. Okay. It means I can reload my config and cross my fingers. Nice. Nothing is bricked. Whew, my winning streak is one bricked configuration right in the beginning. So I'm doing pretty well right now. So this was the tag list example. The task list, this bar, this NVM long bar, is pretty much a carbon copy of it. So what I can do is my task list equals require create task list.lua. I can just extract task list buttons, go here, paste it in, be fast, I'm a Primagen, copy it, go here, nice. Now, okay, add the Webox part. Now let's go to task list. Nice. Create task list widget. Paste it here. Task list. And go here. Nice. Okay. I can remove VBox and Beautiful. I don't need those. I can remove VBox and Beautiful out of here. I don't need those. And I can just see it's kind of a carbon copy out of this stuff. Like those are pretty similar looking. So I can just do local function my task list, for example, here. Local function my task list has an S argument. And I just return my task list and have an end and remove this part and opt out for a return statement. Everything seems to be working. Here's tag list, here's task list. Task list buttons are set here. And I really don't have a lot to worry about because everything that's related to the tags is already working. So everything else is not scary. Okay, go to task list and replace it with appearance and check here that I have appearance task list. Nice. Add the commas and go into here. Where is it? Appearance dot task list S. Copy. Okay, task list works. If I comment it out, okay, task list is gone. Like my system tray just moved here. So it means my model works. Let's do similar thing to set wallpaper. It's kind of a free thing to do here because it's already as a function. So let's add it here. Wallpaper.lua. Add it here. Nice. We're gonna have linked variables and we return set wallpaper. Let's do set wallpaper and we go here, set wall. Let's do my wallpaper equals require wallpaper. And instead of set wallpaper, I do appearance dot my wallpaper s function argument. And let's see. Yeah, it's of course an error, but nothing scary. Let's see. Infill connect signal require. Oh, I see. This was related to my wallpaper, so I need to move it here. Yeah, this is related. And now, okay. I have another error, 15G in this function. I have a connect signal. Connect signal. Did I not save my stuff? Ah, okay. I forgot to save it. Okay, so if the wallpaper is set, it means no errors with the wallpaper. Also, one thing is tags are not really related to the visuals. Tags are more fundamental than this. So I really want to copy this thing, create a main file, call it tag, paste it in here, and remove everything related to the tags. And here I can link all of the libraries here. And what can I do is, for convenience, have this monotonous table, extract it as a tag table so that it's easier to manage it in the future. Okay. Local tag, full the screen, connect for each tag. And now I need to go to RC Lua and go to my appearance VBox and go require tag main.tag. Save it. Tags are scary, so use Zephyr. Check it in. Push in the config. Oopsie daisy. My tags are duplicated. What the hell? Okay, so something was done wrong. Let's see what it was. I was setting up the tags twice. It means I have tags in my screen connection. Okay, let's go here, display, check, tags do be working. Let's invoke Kitty, everything works. Hotkeys work, okay. Seems legit. And let's reload it. Okay, nice. So I've added a tag module. Let's double with it. Let's change the name of our tag. For example, let's make this 1 development, 2 Obsidian, my note-taking environment, 3 is Firefox, 4 would be my drawing software, Krita, 5 would be PDF reader. Let's reload. And look at that. My sexy tag list buttons. Yep, that works nicely. Okay, so appearance is done. Almost done. Now we can do the hardest type of module. Is the one that we would use for system trays. Let's do tray.lua file and let's use our existing modules as a reference point. Here I have a singular tag list function that I return. What if I have like multiple tag list functions? What would I do is to make a local table and make those functions as modules of that table. So it would be something like table.myTagList, so that I can use my tray widgets information whenever I want. Okay, let's remove this. And let's go here, tray.lua. It's empty, of course. Let's go to Webox, link libraries that we will need. And let's check. Let's use my text clock widget as a simple point of start. So, more theory I need to tell you about. There is a thing called declarative widget system. We have already used it here. For example, the difference between those is that one is using a table and the other one is just assigning to a variable. The table method is more versatile. So that's what we're going to use, because in the future we're going to edit our widgets and just tweak it to the way that we need, so that we really need to use the declarative layout system. How it works is that, of course, we have a function, we have a table, sorry, and everything else is not needed here, and we have a widget that we use, and the widget that we use is Webox widget text clock. Here, nice. So that's our declarative system, and as shown in the documentation, we need to prepend Webox.widget information. So that's it. It's a declarative widget. And instead of doing this, we now have something more verbose, something that is more controllable. So this is our text clock, and we wrap a function around it. As I already told you, we will have multiple widgets. So what I really need is not a function, but a table, local, my tray widgets table. And for my tray widgets, I can really just remove this. For this, I can have a method, my text clock. I can have a method for example, my text clock. Which is gonna have again an S parameter. And I'm gonna something is wrong. What am I doing wrong? Wait, oh, I'm so confused. Unexpected symbol end. Oh, because it's a yes, it's a method. Okay, bro, I'm cooking. So since I'm kind of hard stuck here, I'm just gonna cheat and check what I was doing with my tray widgets. Ah, yeah, a method is a function. So I need to add a function. Okay, nice. So I have this widget and I return the tray widgets table. I'm not returning the function because the method, because it's already in the table. So that's our first widget, and let's use it. Let's remove this. This. Okay. I have text clock here. I need to link my sys_tray widget. What's the name? Okay, my tray widget. Okay, equals require tray. Don't forget the comma. And now let's see, text clock is used here. So let's do appearance, my tray widgets dot my text clock. Should be working, right? So let's reload. No, the text clock is gone. Something was done incorrectly. Because I have no return statement. So what can I do is text clock is assigned to a Webox widget, and I can just return my text clock. Okay, it works. Great. Okay, so this is the first tray widget. And now it's going to be simple boilerplate because declarative layout system is, of course, verbose, but it's very repetitive. So the easy thing is now just checking all of the variable names that we have. Like my launcher. What is my launcher? What is it? I know. It was this little pop-up thingy that used to be working before I removed the X desktop menu. So I really don't need it here. What's prompt box? It's this thing. Okay, and let's see. Webox widget sys_tray. Yeah, let's add this one. Webox widget sys_tray. So what I do is just use my boilerplate and add this in function tray widgets my text clock. This will be my sys_tray. This will be my sys_tray, my sys_tray. Okay, and instead of sys_tray I have appearance my textbook sys_tray. Okay, working. Okay, so I have sys_tray, I have text clock. I also need language switching keyboard thing, which is my keyboard layout. Go to definition, this thing, keyboard layout. So I can really remove it and add it into my tray widgets. Okay, so what I do is tray widgets, my text clock, my KBD layout, return KBD layout and KBD layout, and I use this keyboard layout instead of text clock. Nice. Paste it in. And I have 3 tray methods. text clock, systray, and layout, and I can just use them here. Appearance, my systray, layout, my TBD layout. Okay, so it should be working. Again, I can just reload without being scared because this is not important stuff. Let's just remove this stuff. Okay, it's removed. It's indeed working. Nice. So the modular layout was fully created. There's pretty much nothing left to do anymore. And the next step would be adding another functionality. So adding new functionality will be basically copy paste from my GitHub page into my current configuration that I'm making. And I have a quick checklist for the things that I should do. First is signals. And the thing is, for example, if you have some sort of HTTP link, URL link that you want to open, and you click it, nice thing would being able to automatically open the Firefox window, the urgent window. And just copy this from my GitHub. Client connect signal property urgent. So basically what this does, go to signals or for new configuration and paste this in. So we check for the signal where we have a urgent client, like this red Firefox window, and in that case unminimize it and we jump to that window. Let's reload the config and check again. I link jump and it's opened automatically. So nice. The signals is done, and themes is the most rewarding thing. After doing this chore, modular config creation, we can simply go into themes.lua. I hope it loads fast enough, and we can make theme.lua of our own, and let's just copy it. Yeah, it's kind of long. Damn, I didn't think it's that long. Okay, whatever. Paste it in, and the thing is, in this current state, we cannot use our theme because in RC Lua we initialize it using a different theme, a theme that's in the default path. It's basically, if I'm not mistaken, user being awesome and something there. So it's not in our configuration yet. So what we need to do is delete this part yet. And we need to refer to our configuration directory. So we need to go to our home, config, awesome, and to theme. So the theme part is here, theme.lua. And we need some config variable, config path variable. And we can add it into our user variables. So what we can do is add config path equals, and it will require xdg gears file system. This. So I will need gears. Local gears equal require gears, and config path is gears file system, gears.file system dot get. We need to get our configuration directory, get xdg config home. Okay. Nice. And what we can do here is require add our local library, local vars equal require user variables, and local config path equal vars and config path. And just in case, I just want to show you, if you don't initialize the beautiful init, you will just get pitch black information with sans serif font, like the default font of your system. So if I uncomment it and use the actual configuration, something's wrong. New index, signal Lua. Signals.lua, something is wrong. What was done incorrectly? Okay, I have my user variable gears.filesystem get xdg config home. I can even dump that information like gears debug.dump config path. Let's do it. Reload. Let me check accession errors. Oh no, here it is. This information was dumped. So it's home robert.config. It already has a front slash. Yeah, okay, config path. I don't have awesome theme.lua. Okay, now it works. I just forgot to add correct file path. Exit this window. Now we are capable of editing our theme. Let's just double with it. For example, border focus is currently this grayed out thing. I can completely change to white. Yeah, now it's white. And I can also change the font. For example, JetBrains Mono 8. I can make it 10. Pretty nice. And I can make it bold, which is nice. But the annoying thing that I increased my size of the font and the VBox is kind of too large. I need to add constraints in height to my VBox. When I create it, I can add height property equals, for example, 24. And now I can make it, I don't know, 50. I just can meme on you like, bro, this is crazy. And I think 20 is a pretty nice value. Yeah, this is slick looking. So let's go to our theme. And since I really don't want to waste time with, I'm just gonna into my existing theme variables and just copy those. So here I have this information. I'm just gonna go here, theme.font. All of this information is predefined, and this is my own that I've created. And if we reload, wow, this looks so good. This is slick, nice. Like, this is the most satisfying aspect, when you tweak your theme and it looks beautiful. And by the way you refer to the theme is not with local theme equals require theme. You do it referring to the beautiful object. So we have beautiful, and instead of theme we can do beautiful.black. And if I remove it from here, I can do again gears.debug.dump of this information here. And I can reload, and I can check the output that I have in accession errors. It shows nil. Yeah. Because I'm stupid. This should be below beautiful.initialization. This is again the importance of the order of rc.lua skeleton config. Like, the way you require it has to be the way the default rc.lua config was written. So yeah, I debug, I check, and I need to get, yes, I get my correct string, and it's my color. Okay, amazing. So our theme stuff works. And now the next step in our checklist is editing the task list. So this is again opinionated because this color for me at least is kind of striking. I would like it to be more dumped down and take up not so much of space. So again, I'm gonna go to my task list, and I'm gonna use something called, if I'm not mistaken, is a widget template. Yes. So I can have a tag list as it is. I can just add a widget template property that's going to fundamentally change the appearance of my tag list widget. I'm just gonna copy the existing one from my GitHub configuration. So it's the task list, local widget template task list. Let's go here. Let's add it. And let's make it a task list widget template task list. And let's reload. Oopsie daisy. It shows that there's a global VBox value that I did not call. So VBox. Okay, the widget template did not change the appearance of it. Let's check in my default configuration how it is. Yeah, I'll copy it and see what is done wrong. Okay, I need to make other layout property. Nice, yes. So now it takes up less space. And another thing is that I want to strip off the text thingy. I just want to leave only the icon. So how I do it is with a beautiful property. So I go here, I add local beautiful requirement. So this is self-explanatory, disables the task list text. And now I have none. And let me walk you through the widget template. Flameshot GUI. So pay attention to this. So if I upscale it, I'm gonna have an outer box. I'm gonna have an inner box with margins 5 and 5 on the left and right, as you can see here. Those are my margins. Widget VBox container is just self-explanatory. It's a container that will add margins. Then the main part is our icon. Like icon is kitty here. Nice kitty, amazing. Hollow Knight. And then this is the first part. Okay, so this is the first part. This thing in the pink is basically the icon. And this thing in the orange is basically our text. And the thing is that we have removed our text with a beautiful property so that we can actually remove it here and simplify our layout. Also, another tiny nitpick is the fact that sometimes you can have pixelated icons. So you can actually fix that with another default preference. So awesome is the default library. You don't really need to call it. And set preferred icon size will make a 64 by 64 icon size, and the images will be sharper, less pixelated, which is also nice, quality of life improvement. So we changed the themes, changed the initialization, edited the task list. Also, Now we can move on to custom hotkeys. So for example, I was invoking FlameShot GUI with the menu bar, which is inconvenient. What can I do is go to my hotkeys, global hotkeys, and add some custom hotkeys, for example, custom. I just use this random hotkey as a boilerplate. I need to finish this. Okay, there's a problem. Okay, nice. Syntax errors. What can I do is mod key A, so super A, will do some behavior. Everything encased in here will be the function that will get invoked after the key presses. Description is basically this description in the super S popup, and the group is this colorful group tag. I can do this custom. I can do run FlameShot, and I can do custom function. What can invoke a shell command? It's an awful.spawn with shell command. So if we go to the documentation, spawn with a shell allows us to spawn shell commands. So that's what we're going to use. And for this, we need a FlameShot GUI. And if I reload it, I can see that I now have custom super A run FlameShot. And it actually works. Nice. Happy. Hooray. And we can do a lot of different hotkeys. So another quality of life improvement is when you want to have a Zen hyper-focused session, you might want to remove this VBox. So what we can do, for example, let me think. Let this be a modkey Z hotkey, and the function will be a little bit larger. So what we have is for S in screen. Here is my explanation. VBox connects using a screen. As you can see, here it is, s.myVBox. So we need screen information. As I told you in the beginning, screen is a globally accessible variable. It's some sort of table that can be dumped with the gears debug dump. And I can use it s.myVBox, basically the same name as here, dot visible equals not s.myVBox.visible. What this does, if we go to the API, VBox, we can see that visible is an object property that changes the VBox visibility. So what we do, we have created a toggle that switches between two states, visible and not visible. And now we should be able to reload, and yes, modkey Z toggles visibility of the VBox. And another quality of life improvement is a very tiny thing, like beautiful maximized height border equals true. So what this does, let's go into the rc.lua, paste it in here. For example, something here. This does next thing. By default, when you maximize and unmaximize, you have an issue where you lose your borders permanently. And this property will prevent that bug from happening. Yes, it doesn't get invoked immediately. It needs resetting your apps. So what it does, it now creates a visual point where you can see when your app client is maximized or unmaximized. Here it's with a border unmaximized. Here it's maximized. And another step would be having auto start applications. So what can I do is make another directory called script, and this is where all of our auto start apps will go. For example, I made the xset r rate command with 250 and 25 arguments. I can make it as a bash script. So what can I do now is add, let's do test dot sh script, and what I can do, shebang, no, bin bash. Did I do the shebang correctly? Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm so cooked. I did it backwards. Okay, never mind. Let's do xset r rate 250 25. Okay. Now I can go. No, I can go nowhere. I need to create another directory, for example, called module. And in the module, I'm going to create Autostart Lua script. So again, this is boilerplate information. What can I do is simply copy Autostart stuff and check it in here. And I'm going to explain it what happens here. So awful.spawn is the same, pretty much the same hotkey that I used for Flameshot. So for this thing, once makes it so that you don't accidentally start the same application twice when you reload your configuration, which is pretty useful. In cases where this functionality does not work, you can do spawn with shell and PID off. What this part does, it shows, it checks for PID of Obsidian. If there exists PID of Obsidian, we don't move to the double pipe part. So as you can see, there exists PID of Obsidian. It means Obsidian is running, and in that case, we don't run the second program. If there was no PID of Obsidian, so that would mean there was no running Obsidian, then we would move on to invoking Obsidian with our shell. So those are kind of two different ways of invoking only once. And just API notice, when you invoke, you need to add some sort of table to the end. Like this, it's not going to work. Like this, you need to add a table. It's a table called SN rules. It's working in a similar way as the rules that we've created. Same thing here, like all the rules that we have here can be added into this table, which is again pretty useful. But for now, we don't really need it. And yeah, I think that's all. Actually, the scripts, I just noticed that I don't have any mxer, sensitivity, etc. scripts. I just have a sol test.sh script. Also with a mixer, you can do next thing. A mixer. This is a script that automatically sets the volume to maximum. It's to fix the problem where you can potentially have no volume at the startup. And I can actually move it to test sh script. So here it is, a mixer. And yeah, I guess if I reload this, it's gonna spawn programs, right? Ah, no, I forgot to add it to rc.lua. Let's hit add right in the end. Auto start and reload. Ooh, something is wrong. Nil value home path. Okay. Oh, home path is the thing that I have not added yet. So what I can do is go to my user variables, go to home path, home app path, and go gears file system dot get xdg home path. No, it's a local Lua functionality. Okay, os get and home is not related to awesome window manager. Okay, so now I can have home path, config path, go here, remove those underscores, and it should be working. Okay, it is working, but there's a problem. All of my apps were dumped into one tag, which is not the thing that I want. And look, this just looks abysmal. What the heck? And the thing that I can do is set special properties either inside of the awful spawn functions, like in those SN rules, as I told you, or I can do that inside of the regular rules here. I already have a predefined config that I'll use. Again, it's opinionated, and you of course will have different apps that you use, but basically in the end of your rules you're gonna place all of the special rules that you need for your applications. So we go here, we check it in, and let me reload it. Okay, the problematic part is that at least Zathura, my PDF reader, is opened on the right tag, but Krita is not opened at the correct tag. So let's see what's wrong. Oh, I know. The tags names don't match. So I have draw here and I have 4 Krita here. So let me quickly change my tag and change it to draw. And also I noticed that during Autostart, Kitty does not start once. It started twice. So I'm gonna quickly do this PID-off trick like this. And let me see. Krita is started. Okay, it seems like the app should be working, right? Why is it? Okay, just there is a mistake where if it's unmaximized, I accidentally screen grab, which is unwanted behavior, and it's related to the mouse button. Yeah, I need to do something with the mouse key. So if we go client buttons, request activate mouse click, but I'm not really gonna check what's wrong. Again, I'm just gonna blatantly copy everything from my existing configuration. Let's see what's incorrect here. Client buttons and client button. Oh, of course, I forgot to add mod key information. Yep, that was the problem. Okay, let's reload. And now, okay, the mouse works correctly, but I see Firefox is started twice. So again, I can do the PID of trick and do PID of Firefox once with shell and reload. Write all and reload. There's another problem. The easiest thing to do when you face a brick wall, just go to xprop utility and check xorg properties of your window. Let's see what it is. As I can see, my window class is actually Firefox ESR. So the thing that I need to edit, if I'm not mistaken, is rule Firefox ESR class. Let's check what Firefox does. Firefox. Okay, I probably need to change its PID of Firefox ESR. Yeah. Yes, this is some basic trial and error that you need to do, because the most annoying part of Awesome Window Manager is the Xorg rules. Okay, so in our checklist, the first 5 things were created. Nice. Now we move on to a very difficult topic, is asynchronous programming. The reason why asynchronous programming is in general difficult, because the error checker cannot physically check for some sort of risk condition in our awesome code. There's not gonna be any error. You're just gonna see that the behavior is messed up, and you might not understand that it's a race hazard in the first place. So that's a very pity aspect of it. I'm gonna explain everything using an example. So if we go back to my GitHub page and my window manager configuration and get back to this example image, currently the thing we can add is, for example, a widget that shows your sound volume information. So this is basically a command line program. I just do a mixer and I get this information, and it is basically, it's this line. It shows the master control. So yeah, on and 100% volume. Pretty easy, except for the annoyance of asynchronous programming. What we need to do now is make some boilerplate system tray widget that's gonna output text. The API has a special widget for that. It's a text box widget. So what can I do is copy my stuff, make a boilerplate, and paste in next information. My systray is instead will be my volume, and again my volume, and what widget will be placed is vbox widget text box, and for it we need to have a text property. So for example, if I had something like this, I can now go into my vbox here and add my widget to here. So I go here and I check for my volume widget. I reload it, and as you can see, I have Ligma. Nice, beautiful. The thing that we need is the ability to dynamically change the text. How you do that is you refer to the my volume widget and go into its text property and you change it, for example, Ligma 2. And if we see, sorry, I made an error. It's not text box, it's text. If we reload, now we have Ligma 2. Basically, we have ability to, over time, dynamically change the widget. And the current idea is such. Let me show a graph. First of all, is we're gonna have a hotkey like super plus some random key like right bracket. It's gonna create a signal. For example, signal that's called volume signal, like volume signal. And we're gonna use that volume signal inside our widget. If the hotkey emits a signal, we're gonna catch that signal inside of our widget. And while we catch that signal, we update the text box to a new value. Let me walk you through everything. In the API, we have class signal. The emission of signal is here, and the connection of signals is here. So we emit signal during or hotkey. So if you go to global keys and move to hotkeys, I can make a hotkey that, for example, on a comma, will do some special behavior. Let's make this function empty for the time being. And I don't want to clutter the hotkey, so I will extract my functionality into a separate function. So I go here, local emit volume, local function. And what I do is emit is signals, right? Awesome. So awesome dot signal will be a global signal. So if client connect signal is local to clients, I need something that will be global. So I need to use awesome dot emit signal. So what I do, awesome dot emit signal. As an example, I have emit signal. Instead of client, I use awesome. And here it is. I remove this part. And now I can do emit volume. Where is my volume information? Emit volume. Okay. Description would be, say, some volume. Let's reload. And here I have custom super comma hotkey that pretty much does nothing now. But the power of it is that I can use this signal. Let's make a custom signal, for example, laptop volume. I can now use this signal for my needs. Let's make a quick demo. Let's make a naughty notification in RC Lua that will use my laptop signal. So awesome dot connect signal. I need my laptop signal, so I'll go here. Laptop volume. And what happens is that I need to have a function callback. And here is the first asynchronous part that we use, is that once we call or signal, everything that inside this function has to be invoked. So it's a function callback. And what we can write here is, for example, notify some text. Let's see, what notification do I have? Notify. Yeah, let's use this one. I don't need any preset. I need just a title and text something. And now what I need is to invoke my volume hotkey, and now I have a callback when I press my hotkey. So I press the hotkey and I have a callback, which is a pop-up notification. Now, instead of making it a useless pop-up, I need to go back to my widget and use emit signals in my volume widget. And inside of it, I will need to edit my text. And what I will also need is to pass a value into my signal. So this function might have an argument in it. And I will shape this signal in such a way that it will have a variable that will be passed along with the signal. Okay, so emit signal, and we will have some variable passed here. Let's call it value. And now another asynchronous part is that we need to use information of the output of a mixer. A mixer is pretty global. I really need only this standalone part, so I will use a mixer get master. So here you can see I only have the important information here, and I get this output. Like, this is the most important part for me. So the next asynchronous part is our full spawn asynchronous. It's a special function. You can read this text to understand what happens more. But basically, I can have a command, which for me is my mixer get master, and I will have a function which will be my callback. Let's do that. So I have awful.spawn.easyAsync, if I'm not mistaken, easy async with shell. Nice. Easy async with shell. I put my program, a mixer get master, and I have my function callback. And let's put emit signal here. And the function will have a stdout variable name. For example, it doesn't really have to be stdout, it can be anything named. And this standard output will be passed into my emit signal. And when I connect to the signal, I want to get that value, stdout. So what I do is, connect signal, I function value, and the value will be actual my standard output. And if I now reload everything, and if I invoke my hotkey, volume hotkey, see, I get some gibberish. It's really the beginning of my command standard output, but I need to strip the output to the exactly thing that I need. And now we need to have a small side quest. My requirement is to have a Lua installed on your system that you can use, because we are just gonna test some stuff that will strip out the output of a mixer. Let's make a test. Test.lua file, and let's copy the output of a mixer. Let's go here, copy this fully, nice. And what I can do, this is my string. Let me do it like this. Okay, so this is my string, and now we can refer to the Lua documentation. The thing that we need to use are patterns. We need to check for a pattern in our string that will match this 100% and this on stuff. And let's do volume equals and toggle equals, and let's print our volume toggle. Sorry, let's just have a random empty strings here so that we just check if the output will be correct. And if I Lua test, okay, nice, I have the correct output. Now we need to match the correct pattern. What we are gonna do is check all of this information. And what we need now, for the volume, we need digits. So we go here and find whatever digits is. Okay, so we go here, digit. Now the thing is, we need to match digits however many times we want. It's just not only one digit, it's multiple digits. So we add a plus character, digits plus. And also we need to match a percent sign, which will be a double percent sign. So yeah, that's all. And the thing that we'll need is another function. It's string.match. Yep. So if I use string.match my string and the pattern that I need to match, let it see. I should really get now the 100%. Let's test it. Yes, as you can see, I get 100%. And similar thing we need to do for the on part. Instead of digits, this will be matching a character, lowercase letter to be exact. Let's do lowercase letter plus, and I also need to match a right bracket character, because otherwise I might get the incorrect, the not needed brackets. Okay, let's go here. Let's test. And as you can see, there's on, but it's not full. I need to match it with another bracket so that the output is correct. And the same thing can be done with my digit. I can put it into brackets, and now I have very sexy output. So this is exactly the thing that I will need in my async part of the code. So if I go back to my global keys, I need to emit signal not with standard out, but with the stripped down output. Local volume, local toggle, and instead of string, it's std out. And what I do is pass two variables. One will be volume. Let's do it toggle first, then volume last. Okay. And as I connect the signal, I have toggle first, toggle, and volume information last. And the text will be such: I have toggle and I have volume. Let me reload this. If I invoke my hotkey, as you can see, I get my output. I really want to format the output, make it a bit pretty, so I'll add a simple dash. And if I invoke the hotkey, now I get a nice output. So that's the asynchronous part. Now what we need is the ability to change our volume when we need. So this is kind of hacky, but I can pass an argument which will be a string, some string argument, and it can be concatenated to my mixer get master information. So what I need to do is do next behavior. Mixer get set master minus 5%. Okay, so the thing that we can do is edit our volume using the command line, and I usually do it by 5% increments. As you can see, it was 100, now it's 95, and I will use that in my configuration. So awesome, set master, and now I will have 3 different hotkeys for volume controls. So first one will be toggling volume on and off, and 2 different ones will be incrementing and decrementing. So another one here. Okay, nice. For the first one, I need to pass toggle value. So toggle argument. So this is what I will do. This will be toggle. The space is mandatory so that it will show up as a separate argument, so that it will not be like this, which is incorrect. This will be toggle. This will be 5% plus, and this will be 5% minus. And this description is volume toggle. This description will be volume up, and this description will be volume down. Let's reload our config. Okay, something is going wrong. What? Ah, yeah. I understand. I need to change my hotkeys. So volume toggle is comma. Volume up is, for example, backslash. And volume down, for example, will be a dot. Now I need to have three different hotkeys. So one is toggle, as you can see, on and off works. One is volume down, and the other is volume up. Nice, it works. So yeah, but the problem is that when I reset my config, I don't get anything. So in my config, I need to emit my volume once, just in case, so that I can have some default value to pass to the widget. For me, it will be a mixer set master plus, because plus really does nothing, nor minus does anything. I just need to have a placeholder command that will just give me output, give me a state that I can pass to my widget. I don't need to change anything really. So I will pass a plus into here. And now, as you can see, I've off, I've on, and let's double check with Alsa mixer. As you can see, it's on. I turn it off, it's MM. It means it's off. It's on again. Let me check it using some random YouTube videos. Yep. I just need to randomly check it. I just need to check the volume if it works correctly. Okay, my volume is nice. It works properly. Okay. Everything works nicely. So the volume controls were created, but it's not really visually appealing. It's just monotonous colors, and I really need some additional flair to it. First of all, I want to reposition my stuff. Like I need to move the system tray. So I will move system tray to the bottom. Nice. And also one pesky thing is those system tray widgets are like tangent to each other. There's no spacing between them. The way I can add the spacing is something called the VBox container margin. It will basically wrap my system tray widget, and I will have 2 pixel margins from each side. And this will give me smaller widgets, which is nicer. Also, I want to have spacing between the widgets. It's another beautiful function. Let's go here, tray, spacing, sys tray icon spacing. Okay, I use this one and go into my current configuration and go into sys tray widgets. And I'll do this. No. Vars. Yeah. I need to add a user variable, DPI. My DPI is such. You can simply copy it from the GitHub repository. Like this is just copy and paste stuff. Not a lot of thought needed for this. And as I copy, model beautiful not found. What's wrong in here? Okay, we go to our tray widgets and we add local vars equal require user variable. Copy it. Nice. And now we have spacing between our widgets, which is pretty cool. Okay, I fixed the widgets part. Now I need to fix the spacing a bit. This will be done with a custom text clock formatting. So if we go into text clock, we can have custom formatting options like such. And if I go into my text clock, add this formatting option, I will get a different result. And the result that I usually use is such. I go into system tray widgets and I have text clock special formatting. So what this does is that I'm using HTML code to change the coloring. And if I reload it, HTML white. HTML white does not exist. Let me check. Because it's not here. I need to add it into my theme. Okay, if I reload this, as you can see, using HTML color span functionality, I can have differently colored parts inside of my text clock. And this format I pretty much like. Now we can use coloring methods for our layout information and the sound information. Let's go back to the system tray. And also I'm picky again. I really want to move keyboard layout backwards a bit so that it's here. And as you can see here, I have a problem where there's not enough space between two widgets. I can fix that simply by doing the next thing. Here I can just add a space. And as you can see, I have a beautiful space. Nice. Now the way that we add for coloring for primitive text box widgets is something through called the VBox background widget. Let me copy one from my default configuration. If we go, yes, this one. As you can see, VBox container background will basically create us a space colored with a certain color. And on top of that, if we have text box, the text box is gonna inherit the color of that container. That's exactly what I'm gonna do here. So for my layout widget, I'm gonna add red, beautiful.red. And here, I'm gonna use my volume widget, and the output should be correct. Nice. And now we can also change the text. Okay, text code widget is already changed. I can change the keyboard layout widget also. So I can do return VBox keyBD layout and do it. Let's do magenta. Nice. So I have beautiful layout information. Let's move this function up a bit. Just like this. So now I have volume controls which work properly. I have text clock information, and our configuration is pretty much done now. The next step is auxiliary stuff. It's not used for many people, because if you don't use many keyboard layouts, you can skip this part. But if you do, if you're multilingual, you can add keyboard layout switcher functionality. Basically, what utility can I use? It is XKB switch. Let me show what utility it is. It's one that you just download from GitHub. And it's very primitive utility that allows you to switch between two keyboard layouts. And what can I do is firstly using set xkb map. Let's go archwiki set xkb map. We can use it to set up multiple layouts. So in my case, I have a script for setting this KB layout, which sets US layout, Russian layout, Armenian layout with an Unicode international option. So I can copy this. I can create a script on my own. So is KB layout set.sh. I can go here. And the thing that I need is going to our scripts and change their user priority. Change modification, user execute, XKB layout. Okay, nice. Now my scripts should work. If we go back, during Autostart, we now need to Autostart or XKB layout set script. Okay, if we go back, XKB layout.set sh. So if we reload, now if I XKB switch, I should really have multiple layouts listed. XKB switch help, and I want to list all layout groups. Let's see, all layout groups. I have now, using my Autostart script, I now have US, Russian, and Armenian layouts. And the way I can switch between those layouts, I again need to create a custom hotkey, and let's do that. In the custom hotkeys part, we can do the next thing. Using awful keymod key, we can make a particular functionality. So the problematic thing for now is that XKB switch is so primitive that it needs a couple of hacks for it to work by toggling between two layouts. So for that, I need another very simple script. So switch layout.sh, and if I just yank it from here, it's just a 5-line script, which basically does the next thing. If I have two arguments into my switch.layout.sh file, for example, US and RU, this script will toggle between those two. So I invoke it once, it will switch to Russian. I will invoke it to US, it will switch to US, and it will go back and forth indefinitely. And I'll use this script to basically have a global key hotkey that I will invoke, for example, with, I don't know, mod key G. Do I have G? No, G is not used. Let's use G. I can do this thing where I have function and I awful dot spawn dot with shell startup script. Not startup script, my layout switching script. So what I need is user variable. My config path is here. Let's go to global keys. I really need a config path vars config path. And what I do now is spawn with shell, config path dot dot, and go to my XKB in my switch layout script. And if I go here, if I use modkey G, I need to make it work by, if I'm not mistaken, adding it to the right priority group. Yeah, I need to change mod u plus x switch layout. And if we check now, it's not working right now. What the hell? What can I do is sh us rule. It's not working. Let's see if switch layout works. Group US is not supported because it's US alt GR international, and I really need to encase it in single quotes because braces is an illegal character in Bash. And if I do, damn, what the hell is going wrong? What am I doing? Okay, this is working. Like this, it's switching back and forth, as you can see by the system tray widget. The only thing that I need is not spawn with shell. It should be this. Again, this is problem solving. Okay, what I need is dump this information because I'm hitting a brick wall. I will dump this config path, so gears.debug.dump this config path, and I will go into session errors and check what's wrong. So like this, it does not do anything. I've made several mistakes, and do it like this. So I go here, awesome, script, reload, hallelujah, it works. Now modkey G changes my layout, which is pretty nice. Usually what I do is have, instead of modkey G, empty modkey and a key code 191. Okay, so 191 is a F13 key on my keyboard. Well, I have a special keyboard, so I have access to F13 key. And this is how I change my layouts. Nice. In my configuration on GitHub, I have extended layout changing where I introduce layout groups. So I can have US and Armenian layout group and US plus Russian layout group, which I can use whenever I want. So this is pretty nice cherry on top. So our config is almost done. The only additional thing that I can show you is how to make a pop-up. So if I go back into my example photo, you can see that there is a cute text pop-up, and I can use it in such way. So let me copy all of this and walk you through as to what happens. Let's do layout popup.lua. I add this information. Keyboard layout colors, nice. Now we go into VBox. I do my pop-up, my keyboard pop-up equals require layout pop-up, and what I do is I need to set it just like a VBox. So I do s.myPopup equals appearance.popup. And if I reload it, as you can see, I have a pop-up now. Currently it's working with kind of wrong colors. And let me edit all of this and walk you through as to what happens. So this widget is, again, if we go into the documentation and go into awful pop-up, it's another declarative system widget. So what I have here is a background. So first of all, I have a shape rectangle, which is responsible for making this rectangle. I have placement, which is awful placement bottom, so I get it on the bottom of the screen. Background is red, as you can see. So this is responsible for my box. Now if we go inside a bit, we have keyboard background. So it's another container, but now it's a container which is used so that the text will inherit the color of our container. So like US will inherit this blue color. And now I can, just for demo purposes, change all of this coloring. Like for example, I can set colors red, and let's do magenta, and let's do here again magenta. And if we reload, I have magenta and green. This function is also pretty simple. So I've stored keyboard layouts and colors that I will use per each keyboard layout. And I store a layout index. So basically, AwesomeXKB get layout group indexes my layouts from 0 to 2. So US, RU, AM will get 0, 1, and 2 indexes. I add 1 because Lua uses 1 based indexation. So it's 1, 2, 3. And using the layout index, I return my keyboard layout and the appropriate color that I need for that layout. And what I do is that I use a signal that's connected to my keyboard layout widget. And when a layout is changed, so based on this widget, I get a signal to this pop-up. And when the layout is changed, I change the text and I change the background. So first table of this output is keyboard layout with its index, and the second table part is the color. So that's all for the awesome window configuration. The only things left are some tiny quality of life improvements, which are pretty easy to forget. So first thing is, when you use tags, and when you append a certain tag to another one, for example, I appended 5th tag client to the 2nd tag, there is some inconsistent behavior where it's not certain which tag will be the first one. To fix this behavior, let's go to my tag key GitHub configuration. And what we can do here, just copy this part, very simple part, and go here. This is the only string that we need to add. Basically what it does, it always sets the toggled client as a slave. And basically there are 2 terms. Main window for a tag is master, and secondary window for a tag is slave. So if I open Zathura, once again, I reload my config and set this to a tag, now my Zathura window will always be to the right of my Obsidian window, because Obsidian window is the master, it's always first, it's always on the left, and the slave, Zathura, is always on the right. So that's first quality of life improvement. Another one is when you have, let me open that tool once again, is when you set to a tag, when you switch back and forth, you will likely need to have the master automatically focused because master client is more important. So what we do is when we switch tags in this part, we need to set that we always want to focus the master client. Let's do that. Client focus will be client get master. So what we do here is again pick a tag, and as you can see, now master is always focused. And as it seems, we have added some functionality, and our configuration is pretty much all done. If you of course want, you can add a custom widget by yourself. You can check my GitHub configuration for another system tray widgets. If you go into appearance, into tray widgets, you can see there are many different ones that use timers, the widget that show brightness, and widget that shows battery percentage. But that's some side quests that I cannot currently do because I'm on my PC and there is no brightness and battery power on my PC. So this demo is a little bit limited. But as it is in the current state, we went from 0 to hero. We went from a pretty crappy configuration to a very sane, minimalistic default, I would say, with color-coded information. And for multilingual people, we need some layout switching pop-ups. So if you watch this video from the beginning to its end, first of all, I hope you now are capable of creating your own extensible configuration. And related to the video, I really would like to get some feedback. Maybe you have some good insight so that I can make my future videos a bit better. So yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.